So we can start our presentation here. Hi all, my team and I are here to present our project 2 titled as the operating FTP or web server on Ubuntu Linux. So our team members are Rohit, Ramana and myself Vishwanath. So this is a table of contents of all our tasks and work performed. And we have titled our project as the operating FTP or web server on Ubuntu. We are April 21, and this is a team members contribution list of what all we have done and contributed to our work. So the abstract will be continued by Rohit.
Hello everyone. My name is Chinala Rohit Yadav. We and our team members has done the operating FTP or web server on Ubuntu. So I will explain the main abstract about the project.
Can you share your screen?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes.
Is it visible for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. In today's computer world, the Linux operating system is one of the most extensively used operating system. In the present software sector, it plays a crucial role. It is giving Windows and Mac a run for their money. Linux server are used by major companies such as Google, IBM, Amazon, Facebook, and many other companies also. One of the most significant advantages of this operating system is that it is completely free when compared to other operating systems. We utilize an FTP server to transfer files through a computer network from server to client. It is designed to be a user model. FTP server stands for File Transfer Protocol in its full form. In general, web servers are often used by users to run their applications over the internet. And Apache is free open source software that allows us to operate our applications on the internet. The Apache server will receive the client's request and process it before returning the process in the form of web pages. Most websites on the internet today will be agreed to host solely on an Apache server. The document describes how to download and configure the VSF TPD server in Ubuntu, as well as how to generate an FTP server and connect the FTP server to the command line and configuring VSF TPD to upload and download files to the home directory via command line and connecting Ubuntu via SSH. So in briefly, this is the abstract of our project, and the introduction is continued by Ramana.
Okay. Hi all, this is Venkatraman Nandamuri, currently pursuing my master's in computer science, and I will explain you the introduction of our project. Let me share my screen first. Everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes. When it comes to introduction, like Windows and Macs, Linux is widely used operating system because of features and security provided by the operating system. Globally, corporations use this operating system to run their to run their applications. When compared to the other operating systems, it is open source and free. Linux is rollouts initially introduced in the mid 1990s. The operating system is considered a critical component of systems hardware components such as CPU, RAM, and storage. This Linux operating system is comprised of kernel, demos, and desktop environments and various applications. At present, 70% of servers are solely Linux servers. This is exceptionally beneficial for the programming development environment in which our applications are run. It has a shell-like interface which they would interact with their commands. It is more secure operating system when compared to the others because of its flexibility. Users can build anything they want on top of the kernel. When we install this operating system, it is neither wants to run nor install any tracking softwares. If the server is configured to allow it, FTP users can connect anonymously or they can authenticate themselves using the clear text sign-in protocol in the form of username and password. For a secure data transmission that protects the username and password and encrypts data, FTP is frequently encrypted with SSL and TLS. FTPS is replaced with SSH file transfer protocol, which I will explain regarding the SSH file transfer in the later part of the my task. Accordingly, if you host your own server, you can use FTP to upload files to the server, which others can then download. FTP was developed prior to the introduction of graphical computing. FTP is used to connect to a remote device. Once you have been praised, you can receive files as well as send files. Today, these terms are still used in FTP jargon. An FTP server allows you to organize your files in much the same way the desktop file. Explorer does grant other users remote access to download your files. Unstrict a permission for what users cannot do with your files. And continue to with this. The first task will be explained by Vishwa. Vishwa, I think you can take care now
Yes,
from on.
yes. I like it from here. So I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
Just a second. So yes, I'll take it on here from task one. So our task one is to install an FTP server on Ubuntu Linux virtual machine. So here, firstly, we need to begin with using the terminal and install the VS FTPD on install Ubuntu virtual system using the code sudo apt-get install VS FTPD. So SFTPD is a secure FTP protocol. And here we create a new configuration using the nano command where we create a file and then or write down a script. So the figure 1.1 shows the installation of the VSPD command. And this after writing a script into the created file name. So the screen appears with a screen with the file named as /etc/vsftpf dot configuration, which is the extension of conf. And this is the code script we write into this created file, which has the local enable, the permissions to all the ports, the umask, the local time, and rest of the all. So I have just written down all my script into the created file. So now it is a basic thing that the FTP traffic is always blocked by the FTP server. So here we need to uh, allow this FTP server into the ports 2021 and from 10,000 to 10,100 so that the FTP can connect to our Ubuntu system. And then, so as we are done with the above step, so we restart the VS FTPD configuration command so that it could update itself all the adjustments that we have made into the script. And then we configure the whole process. So from here, we create a FTP server FTP user. So here I have named my user as FTP user, and we need to give in a unique password. So here we save at least one FTP's user to connect to the FTP server via the Ubuntu machine. So the CLI is a command line user interface where we connect it to the FTP server using IP address. So the default IP address for the FTP of any system is 127.0.0.1. So we can get connected to the Ubuntu server, which I'll be showing a demo of this. And then the GUI. So we connect it from the Ubuntu systems locations. So this is the command where we are used to connect to the FTP server via the GUI. So on entering to the connect server, we add this IP address, and then it asks for a username and password, which have created a FTP user earlier. And then the result appears as a FTP test uh, file on a Ubuntu machine. So I'll just give a demo of the FTP connection. So we enter command FTP 127.0.0.1. So it gets connected to the FTP server. So we have connected FTP user, which asks for password. Here, enter my password, and then it's successfully connected into it. And then I'll share the list of what all are present. So the FTP test folder is present here, and then I have created a directory for a task to upload and download the files. So getting back to our topic. So uploading and download a file via the command line interface. So we connect to the server, as I said earlier, the 127.0.0.1. So figure 2.1 represents the connection to the FTP server, which I just presented to you. And then let's take a file on Ubuntu system. So here I have chosen a hello.java file, a Java extension file. And then as I showed you earlier, I've created a directory named upload in the FTP server. So as we can see, I have used the mkdir command to upload the new directory. And then I use the put command to upload the file into the FTP server. And then using all these commands, so we now need to download the file. So hence, so this is the proof that the given file has been uploaded into the FTP server. So now as to download the file, we use the get command. So I named remote and local files here, and then it shows as a port command successful with a port number of 200. And hence hello.java file has been successfully downloaded into our desktop. So task 3 will be continued by Ramana.
Hey, hi, let me share my screen again. Yeah, in task we will connect the install Ubuntu via using SSH. Before that, we will check the IF config of our Ubuntu server by giving the command ifconfig. From that, we can get the IP address of our Ubuntu server. After that, we'll go to our command prompt of our local machine, which we are hosting the Ubuntu, and then we'll give you a command called like a SSH at the rate IP address. SSH username at the rate IP address. To get the username, we can give who am I command in the Ubuntu, so that we can get the host name of the Ubuntu. By using that host name and in our local command prompt, we can give the command SSH username at the rate Ubuntu IP address. Uh, the connection will establish between the Ubuntu server and on local machine. If we get any error like there is a connection timed out or unable to get the connection, so at that time we have to check the SSH server status of the our Ubuntu machine. Even if it is not yet installed, we can install it using the sudo apt install server SSH. And after that, even though we are getting a error like getting connection timed out, then we can have to check the SSH status on the port number. If everything goes fine, it will connect to our local host machine. Here you can see that I have connected my local machine to the Ubuntu, and I have given a command called who am I, and it is showing my Ubuntu server name Nanamori. So the SSH of is connected in this way. And the next task will be explained by Rohit. Rohit, you are on mute.
Yes. So the next task is of installing web server on Ubuntu Linux. So let me share my screen. Yes. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So the task 4 is installing web server on Ubuntu Linux. So we need to give the command called which I have mentioned here is sudo apt get install Apache 2. So we are installing the Apache 2 server into our Ubuntu Linux or the virtual box. So we need to give the sudo apt get install Apache 2, and then it's asked for your authentication like password. You need to type the password, and the very next moment it gives the yes or no option that we need to select as Y or N to for the last step of the installing. So we need to give the Y and press enter. So the next step in this is to now verify the version of Apache 2. So we need to verify the version of it. So for that, the command is Apache 2 space dash version. So it shows the version here as Apache slash 2.4.41 Ubuntu. And in the next step, we need to run the app list. So it shows some of the list of the versions. We need to select one of that. So for that, we need to give the command as sudo ufw app list. It shows different types of app list. So as we are installing Apache, we need to select that the first one as the Apache, like sudo ufw allow Apache, and the next moment it gets updated into that. And next, now we need to check the status of uh, the status of the server. So it shows sudo ufw's status. It shows as inactive. So we need to activate it by using sudo systemctl status Apache 2, and the code runs and it gets activated. You can see in the below right here. Now give the following command to check the IP address. It's same as the other things like give IPA or if config anything. And I have given the command IPA, and here it shows our IP address. And to take that IP address into your local Ubuntu web server, and if everything goes perfect, then it shows like this in the server, like it works. So this is the screenshot of my work, how it get installed and how is it's working. And the next task 5 is continued by Vishwanath. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take it on from here for task 5. So task 5 is to create a team website to introduce ourselves. So first, we have to know our IP address, and then we need to create a directory named project 2 for the domain. So here I have used the hostname command to know my IP address, and then I have made a new directory named as project 2, and then I have allowed the execution permissions to the owner. So now I create a page of the HTML code named as the team.html using the nano command. So this appears to be as a new HTML code file where we need to have this code written into it. So this HTML code is to create the web page with all our names and all our bio into it. So from there, we create a new virtual host using the command nano, and it's named as project 2 with an extension of conf, the configuration. So here we create the virtual host. So the host we use the port 80, and then our server name is named as project 2, and then we just script down this code into the file and then save it. So from here, after writing the code, we need to enable permissions. So for that, we use the a2 site command. So and moreover, we need to start the default site for the A2 decide, and using the command as highlighted here. So now we test the configuration, and if the output says as syntax okay, then we restart our Apache module. So this will be the result. So I'll just share my Ubuntu virtual machine screen. Just a second. Is my screen visible? Okay. So as I said earlier, I created a project 2 with an extension of HTML, and then I give the user password, and then here are all the following commands I used to create a web page as I explained in task 5. So I reload the Apache 2 and change the default owner settings, and then the A2 as the project 2.configuration extension, and the whole process is of here. So as we have done this, so this is code, I mean the IP address for our web page design. So I'll just copy the IP address here, and then so we have done it with the extension of the 121.0.0.1. So this comes as a web page created with all our pictures, names, and the bio. So I have also done it with the different IP address, the private thing. So I'll just reload this page, and then it results in the same. So this is a web project, website creation. And coming back to our document, so this is a team website is created here, and this and all three of us have contributed into it. So coming to the discussion, as we have been doing the whole process, we have met with an error in the in task 2 where we need to upload or download data via the CLI. So as we have been trying to make a directory and put a hello.java file into the FTP server, we always got denied, and it shows the port 500 is not allowing us to create a directory. So as we have done our research into it, we have found that the script in the file named the etc/vs ftp ftpf ftpd .con is uh, which is created earlier. The write enable yes is commented, so it's not allowing us to write, upload or download a file. So as I uncommented, I have successfully connected to the FTP server, and then I have successfully uploaded the hello.java file into the FTP server, and hence was enabled to download it. So coming to our conclusion part, uh, so in this project, we have installed an FTP server on Ubuntu Linux, demonstrated files of uploading or downloading using the command line interface, and connected to the install Ubuntu via SSH. So the installation of an FTP server on Ubuntu Linux may appear to be simple and clear, but when a person first looks at the tutorials that that are given to us, so however, it is critical to thoroughly follow the steps, because there are several details in the code that require attention for proper setup and operation. So furthermore, the FTP has long been used for data centers it uh, because it saves everyone's time by providing secure confidential data. Even though it is incompatible with all operating systems, exception with Linux and Unix, it is most widely used. So the most common type of server in Ubuntu FTP is the Ubuntu FTP server, which allows you to easily transfer files between your Ubuntu VPS or server and your device. So it is a safe and dependable method of transmitting data. So when files must be exchanged between business partners, for example, the FTP is a useful programming application for the website. So because FTP clients are built into all operating systems and web browsers, it is both stable and widely available. Besides this, the FTP has been used for a pretty long time because it saves time for everyone by storing the sensitive information. So it is most commonly used, and despite the fact that it is incompatible with all systems except Unix and Linux. So this is our conclusion. And so these are all our references we have used in dealing with this project. And this is our appendix, which we have written it on Ubuntu, the file transfer protocol, the secure shell, the web server, and the hypertext protocol. And all the links to the extension of the written matter are provided here. So that's all about our presentation, and thank you.